Hi, this is Terry Edwards here from Make More Placements. We're the company that recruitment and search business owners come to if they want to generate more business and increase their sales. And welcome to today's Recruitment Fuel. This is a daily podcast, your number one fuel for your mind. The fact is, your thinking is the number one factor for your business success. If you want to make more placements, serve more of your market, and earn more money, you're going to have to think and behave in a certain way. The purpose of these podcasts is help you become the number one recruitment and search business in your particular niche. And today I want to share with you the 12 essential reasons why a hiring manager will never, ever work with you on a retained basis and exactly what to do about it. Number one reason that a hiring manager will not work with you on a retained basis and what to do about it is they don't have a need. The fact is, before a hiring manager will work with you, 4 boxes need to be ticked. You need to have it's called need. They need to have a need for what you're doing. They need to know you. They need to like you. They need to trust you. If you haven't ticked those 4 boxes, it ain't going to happen. So number one is, first of all, that they've got to have a need for what you do, for the service that you're offering. Number two, reason why clients won't buy from you. This might sound counterintuitive, but trying to undercut the competitors on the service that you're offering, because the moment you do that, you become very what's called transactional, and you're just another recruiter. When the hiring manager can engage somebody on the retained basis, they want the best candidate. They don't want the cheapest candidate. It's worth remembering that. There's no need to try and undercut because it weakens your position. Number three, trying to sell recruitment or search. Again, this sounds somewhat counterintuitive, but bear with me. So the hiring manager has no interest in your recruitment or search service. They don't actually want it. What they actually want is a solution to the problem that they're having right now. Example, when I was a search consultant, I worked in the IT sector. So I was predominantly recruiting CTOs and project directors. Now, the reason that the hiring manager wanted the CTO or project director was to ensure that projects were delivered on time and to budget. Think about it. That's what they wanted. They didn't want the recruitment. The service I was offering was going to help them achieve those things. That's what you want to talk to a hiring manager about. By the way, when you start doing that, you're going to stand above your competitors, because most of your competitors will be very transactional and just talk about themselves and what they do and anything to do with recruitment. Hiring managers don't really care. They want their problem solved. This brings me on to number four, which is talking about what you do. Your hiring manager's got 3 main problems. The problems are around time, often lack of time or not enough time. Team, often around underperforming team and insufficient skills in their team, or money. Often that's around sales, budget, something like that. Time, team, money, the 3 main challenges your hiring managers have. You want to be talking about the pain they're having in one of those 3 areas, or maybe in all 3, rather than again, well, what you do. So don't talk about what you do. Talk about how you're going to help solve their problems that they're having right now. 5, you lack the confidence and conviction in your service. Often we talk to recruitment and search business owners, and they say, I'd rather not work on a retained basis because if I do, I may not deliver. That's simply a sign that you don't believe that you can deliver. Here's a fact. The average retained recruiter's fill rate is about 90%. The average retained fill rate for a contingent recruiter is about 25%. Think about that for a moment. That means that the average contingent recruiter, most of the time they're working, they're not getting paid. If you're a contingent recruiter, I can almost guarantee you've had situations where the candidate you thought you put in front of the hiring manager, you thought was absolutely perfect, ticked all the boxes. A few days later, you get a phone call. Oh, we've put that on hold for a time being. Oh, we found somebody else from elsewhere. When you're working with a client on a retained basis, you don't get that. Or at the very least, you're going to get paid the first stage fee. It's to your benefit and the hiring manager's benefit to know to work on a retained basis. 6, they don't know you, they don't know of you, so you lack trust and credibility. Selling retained starts well before you meet the hiring manager. So if you think, oh, I can just meet the hiring manager and convince them to work on the retained basis, but on the very first meeting, they never heard of you, it's possible, but it's pretty hard work. Selling retained starts before that. You need to be marketing to them and reaching out to them and communicating before you actually have that first conversation with them. It doesn't start, the sale doesn't start on the very first call that you have with them. It starts well before that in the marketing. Number 7, your marketing methods. Look, if you're, example, using these marketing methods to get business on a retained basis, you can have a few challenges. Here's an example, specking CVs. Sure, we've all been there, where you've got that red hot candidates, as we used to call them, the candidates on steroids. And you kind of know, if I can just talk to the hiring manager, I can place this candidate with this hiring manager. Now, I want to be clear about this. Using specking CVs or marking out candidates or NPCs, whatever you like to call it, it does work, but it doesn't work so well when you're trying to sell retain, because you position yourself. You spec out a CV of a hot candidate, you position yourself as a contingent recruiter. The client says, yeah, I'm interested in talking to this particular candidate. You then say, well, we only work on a retained basis. The client's either going to say this, or they're thinking, but you just sent me this CV without any agreement whatsoever. So why would I work with you on a retained basis? I don't quite see why I would do that. So you need to be careful of your positioning. So you're reducing your chances of getting retained business if you're specking out candidates, as an example. Number 8, you should be able to answer this question. If you can't answer this question, you're never ever going to get retained. Why should they work with you on a retain? In other words, you should be able to communicate the benefit of them working with you on the retained basis. If you say things like, yeah, we're different, we've got a large database, or we're cheaper than anybody else, that isn't going to do it. Okay, and if you're listening to this and you're a parent of children, you would have had this kind of conversation with your children. If you don't eat your greens, you're not going to go back on the screen, or worse to that effect, tidy your room or whatever. You know that when you say that, your kids are going to tidy their room or eat the greens, whether they want to or not, because you've communicated the benefits of them doing it. Nobody does anything unless there's a benefit to them. The hiring manager will not engage with you unless you can communicate the benefit of them engaging with you on a retained basis. Number 9, no process for conducting the business development meeting. Most recruitment and search firm managers that I speak to on a regular basis, when I ask them about their business development process, what they often say is, well, I've got to do it up here, or I just swing it. Think about that for a minute. Imagine you were going on the flight and the pilot told you that they didn't have a process for flying the plane. They just winged it on the day. Yeah, you get it. And look, if you've got a process, a business development process, a process for the meetings, what it means is you can attract other consultants to join your firm if you've got a process that works. You know what good looks like. Many recruitment and search business owners we talk to don't actually know. Number 11 is what we call stacking the evidence. Or another word for it is social proof. Look, just for a moment, imagine that you're new to a city and you need to find somewhere to eat. You notice that there are 2 restaurants next door to each other. Neither of them you know anything about, but you quickly notice there's one big difference. One is jam-packed with people, while the other has no customers whatsoever. Which restaurant do you think you're likely to choose? If you're like most of the people I pose that question to, and an immediate answer comes to mind, you intuitively know that the busy diner or restaurant is a better option. Yet why is eating a full restaurant superior to eating an empty one? Well, as humans, we need to know that the decision we're making is the right decision. And seeing other people eating there is an indication that's the case. Now, you're probably thinking, what's a restaurant going to do with my recruitment business or search business? Well, unless you're able to provide social proof to the potential clients, you're making things difficult for yourself. And when I say social proof and testimonials, I don't mean things like, yeah, Acme & Co executive search did a fantastic job, MD of a manufacturing company. So anybody looking at that is thinking, they probably wrote that themselves. What I'm referring to is when they go into detail of what a great job that they did, and they give their name, their job title, and the name of the organisation. That's written social proof. There's also video social proof, and that's really powerful. So you now have a video of your hiring manager or your client saying what a great job you've done. That will help convince the potential client that you're the person to be working with. And the next one is not asking for retained business. The majority of the time when I talk to owners and directors of recruitment and search firms, they say things like, my market don't engage with retained recruiters. And I say, you sure? They say, yes, we're absolutely positive. And I say, well, I'm curious, how often do you ask for retainers? Well, I don't ask for retainers. Well, why don't you ask for retainers? Because they won't pay them. I've got news for you and for them. If you don't ask for the retainer and give them a reason why, you're probably not going to get it. It just won't happen. So they're the 12 reasons why hiring managers will never, ever work with you on the retained basis. Look, Please feel free to share this with other recruitment and search business owners who are looking to grow their business. If you'd like some help in winning retained business and working less and earning more, please go to makemoreplacements.com and get access to some of our free videos. This is Terry Edwards from Make More Placements. Until next time, take care, take action, be relentless.